Hello everyone, Niall and Kells here from Only Fools and Gamers with our first joint review for the channel, and today we're reviewing The Walking Dead 400 Days, a new downloadable episode featuring 5 stories from 5 new characters as they survive the first 400 days of the zombie apocalypse. This piece of downloadable content is now available for the PC, PS3 and Xbox 360 for £4, and to our American viewers that's about $5. So without further ado, let's jump into The Walking Dead 400 Days.
The story of The Walking Dead is set in the same universe as the Robert Kirkman comics. As the name would imply, The Walking Dead 400 Days takes place across the first 400 days of the zombie apocalypse.
The story revolves around 5 characters surviving at different points during the apocalypse. Vince, whose opening is reminiscent of Season 1 protagonist Lee Everett in that he is being taken to prison, Wyatt, who with his friend Eddie are being chased down an eerie highway covered in fog by an unknown attacker, Russell, a newbie out of college, trekking his way across America to get to his grandmother's house, Shale, who is out to protect her sister from the horrors of the world, and finally Bonnie, a recovering drug addict who is being chased by shadowed figures through a cornfield.
Choices that you made in Season 1 will carry over to 400 Days, and the choices that you made in 400 Days will carry over to Season 2. The choices that you make within the game will ultimately affect how the story will play out. This means that you and a friend who may have also played the game may have almost completely different experiences. "400 Days" plays exactly the same as Season 1 did. It's a point-and-click adventure game where your choices play a big part in how the game will play out. You'll usually have up to 4 possible choices of ways you can respond to the situation. Some of these decisions can be very hard and will usually impact the story greatly. These decisions can affect who lives and who dies, how the characters around you think of you as a person, and the decisions that they will make themselves. Once you make a choice, you have to deal with the consequences. The game also uses a series of quick time events to perform certain actions in the game. The only thing I noticed that was added to the DLC was a new quick time event, but that's about all the changes that you'll find. The point and click aspects of this game aren't nearly as interesting as having to make the many choices that you'll have to make in the game. However, if you do enjoy point-and-click adventures, I think you'll be able to appreciate this game, even if you do dislike the QuickTime events.
Telltale Games have faithfully recreated the look and style of the comic books and made it stand out amongst most AAA games with its striking comic book style visuals, with characters and settings beautifully detailed, character gestures appearing true and authentic, showing fear, anger, joy, and even insanity. The Walking Dead shines brighter than most games that try so hard to look realistic that they just look unappealing and mentally exhausting, while The Walking Dead's visuals will have a long-lasting appeal compared to the gritty brown bloom of this generation.
In terms of the soundtrack, most of the music is ambient tunes that fit well with the situation. They're good, but nothing you'll be listening to on your way home from work. However, when the game starts to get intense, the soundtrack really shines with some really good music. My favorite song on the soundtrack being "I'll Cover You," which you'll hear in Russell's story. The song is a remix of a song from episode 3 of Season 1. The voice acting is solid. All of the characters sound like you'd think they would, and all the actors give believable performances. The sound effects are your pretty standard fare, believable and fit well with the situations.
The Walking Dead 400 Days is a chunk of The Walking Dead that tied us over until Season 2 hits our monitors, and it is worth every penny. While the DLC lasts for around 2 hours, each story stays for the right amount of time for the player to become acquainted with and attached to the new characters, and to ponder the decisions they made over the course of the 2-hour story. Characters like Vince, with little screen time, made such a lasting impression on me. I'm dying to see more of his character and hope for his safe return in Season 2. That is, if he appears in Season 2. For fans of the first season, it's a no-brainer to pick this up, and will leave fans coming out of 400 Days wanting and begging for more.
Overall, The Walking Dead 400 Days is a welcome addition to the Telltale series of games. It features some cool characters and interesting situations. My favorite stories are the same as Niall's: Russell's, then Shell, then Wyatt, then Vince, and then Bonnie. I liked Russell's story for his interactions with the truck driver, and it has a good amount of action too. I like seeing Shell struggle to preserve her sister's innocence and the humanity of the group itself. There are some pretty hard decisions in that one, I'll tell you. Wyatt himself wasn't very interesting, but I did like Eddie and the relationship as well as the mysterious and foreboding vibe you get from his story. Vince would have been better had it been a bit longer, but it does have some funny characters and is a great start for 400 Days. Bonnie's story didn't really interest me much. The other two characters weren't anything special either, however I did enjoy the ending. For my final verdict, I'd say if you love The Walking Dead Season 1, you'll enjoy this as well. There's not as many heart-wrenching moments, obviously because each story is only 20 minutes, but at the same time, having so many different stories keep it interesting and fresh. I recommend that you buy 400 Days. It's a fantastic deal for only $5. This has been Kells and Niall here for Only Fools and Gamers review of the 400 Days DLC for The Walking Dead. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and let's hope Season 2 is better than the first one as well as this.
What the hell are you doing here? You should have picked this up already. That's why you're watching this, right? You know, to see if it was worth picking up? Right, well, I'm a patient man, and I can wait for you to get the game and come back here. Don't just sit there and wait to see what happens, just do it. Okay.